Jackson, and welcome to today's new episode of LCJ Live. It's Sunday, October 12th, 2025. Hope you're having a good weekend, an extended weekend. A lot of kids off of school tomorrow, and hope it's a good one for you. Did you see TRON Aries? I did yesterday, because I was at New York Comic Con on Thursday. I'll give you some highlights of that and my thoughts on TRON Aries in a moment here on LCJ Live. Thanks for being here. If you're watching on YouTube Live, thank you. You can send in your questions and your comments. Of course, today we are also mourning the passing of Oscar-winning actress Diane Keaton, a legend in this business. You look at Annie Hall, which of course she won the Oscar for, but also the Godfather films, and more recently revived this genre, or really started this genre of movies for older moviegoers about celebrating life and romance and success and achievements at an older age, and relationships and friendships. Films with Jane Fonda, including Book Club. Book Club started it all in 2018. I remember going to a screening of Book Club. It was about 3 or 4 nights before it opened in May of 2018. Paramount held a screening, and I went to it and I didn't know what to expect, because you saw this premise of these older women reading 50 Shades of Grey. Oh, is it going to feel ridiculous? And it didn't feel ridiculous. It felt legitimate. You know, it felt like these stories deserved to be told. And Diane Keaton would go on to make several of these kinds of movies, dramas, and comedies over the last 7-8 years. I've got Morning Glory here with me. This is one of my favorite comedies, movies of all time. I love this film. Diane Keaton and Harrison Ford played co-anchors of a morning news program. Rachel McAdams played their producer. It is a wonderful film. If you have never seen Morning Glory, find it, watch it. Diane Keaton's not in the movie a lot. It is definitely a supporting role for her, but she is terrific in the film. Rest in peace to Diane Keaton. Christian Kozlowski as well. Truly sad day for cinema, says Brandon Woodruff. So many great films. Going to watch The Family Stone tonight, says Kelly is kind of awkward. Yeah, that's a popular one. Let's see. Love the shirt, LCJ. Thank you very much. I wore this to New York Comic Con on Thursday as well, so we're bringing some Comic Con here. And Pete Crooks, Looking for Mr. Goodbar, was the real deal. Diane Keaton in so many iconic movies, Reds as well. I just did, for WMHT, the PBS station, a new special interviewing Maureen Stapleton's children. If you want to check that out, go to the WMHT YouTube channel. I had a great extended conversation with them for a special episode of the program, AHA House for Arts. We talk about her winning the Oscar for Reds and much more. So yes, Diane Keaton in that as well. Rest in peace to Diane Keaton. And Sam B. Russell, Something's Gotta Give. Great flick, Hans Zimmer score. Something's Gotta Give was her most recent Oscar nomination, her final Oscar nomination for actress in a leading role a little over 20 years ago. She did win the Golden Globe for actress in a comedy or musical for that Nancy Meyers movie. And she had also won for Annie Hall the Golden Globe. So there you go, Diane Keaton. Wow. Was she related to Buster Keaton? Not sure of everything, but yeah, a legend in this business. Like I said, watch Morning Glory. All right, let's get to the box office. Then I'll talk about New York Comic Con. So many new movies coming out next weekend as well that we'll preview here. I want to start with TRON Aries, which I saw yesterday. $33.5 million for the weekend for TRON Aries at number 1. This is a lower open than I expected, than Disney expected. This is not great. And a movie that I like, I don't love it, but here's what I like about TRON Aries. Number 1 is the visuals, number 2 is the score, and number 3 is Jared Leto. I think he's good in the film. Number 4 is the Jeff Bridges portion. I'm not going to spoil it, but here's what I will say about Jeff Bridges' presence in TRON Aries. It is broken up with other stuff in between. If it was one long sequence with Jared Leto and Jeff Bridges, and you see a little of it in the trailer, so I'm not totally spoiling things when I say that Jeff Bridges is in TRON Aries, but they should not have broken it up. It should have been one long sequence, and if it was, people would be calling it one of the best scenes of any movie this year. And maybe when it's available on digital, somebody will splice it together to create one excellent long scene online. But the fact that it's broken up, I'm a little surprised that Joaquin Roning, the director of this, did that. Joaquin Roning also directed the most recent Pirates of the Caribbean film for Disney, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, and Young Woman in the Sea. Young Woman in the Sea was my number 2 movie of last year. Daisy Ridley, outstanding. The emotional impact, I did tear up towards the end. It is very moving. If you have not seen Young Woman in the Sea, it should still be on Disney Plus. Check it out. That's a much better movie than this. Though I like Tron Ares. The biggest problem I have with Tron Ares is I wish it was more of a challenging story. It's very basic. It's very standard. It's got rhythms to it that we've seen in so many other sci-fi action flicks. Oh, here's an AI who all of a sudden has emotion and is this relationship with the human character played by Greta Lee and the maker and the boss and destruction of the city. No, it could have been more challenging without making it confusing. It's very basic. Some of the action scenes are better than others. Some of the visuals, there are even a couple moments with the visuals where I was like, ooh. Obviously there's some older references with the visuals that are intentional, but some of the other, newer tech they throw in this, there was a couple moments I was like, I don't know. But I like it. I don't love it. I don't think it's a waste of time. I do think it's better than Tron Legacy, a movie that I found dull. And a movie, I don't even remember much of Tron Legacy. It was 15 years ago. But I do remember I went to an IMAX, I think it was IMAX 3D screening of it, the Tuesday ahead of its release. And then Yogi Bear also opened that week on the Friday. I liked Yogi Bear more. And the thing about Tron Legacy was, I just remember going, not much excitement, not much intrigue. I think I gave it a C. I wasn't giving minus grades. Fun fact, I wasn't giving minus grades to movies until mid-2011. The first movie I ever gave a minus grade to was Kung Fu Panda 2, which I gave a B- in May of 2011. If I had done minus grades at that point, I might have gone C- for Tron Legacy. I'm going C+ on Tron Ares. So it is definitely better, but not incredible. I think because the story is so basic. And there were comic relief and goofy stuff with some of the characters we didn't need. And like I said, that Jeff Bridges scene should have been one whole scene. All right, a lot of comments coming in. Jeff Bridges and Jared Leto should be on more movies together. We got a comment of that. Did I watch SNL last night? No. Let's see. The score I thought was pretty good. Am I a Nine Inch Nails fan? I like the music. The music was good. The music was good because it was different. It had a different vibe. We've gotten some interesting scores recently from some movies, like One Battle After Another, a couple other movies, some interesting scores. Yogi Bear, what a throwback. I know, 2010. Why the change up to the minus grades? I decided, you know what, I couldn't just do the grade and a plus. I thought I needed to start doing minus grades because there were some movies where I felt like there was an in-between between a B and a C+. I was like, well, I don't want to go that low, but I don't want to go that high. So I finally added in minus grades. I had not done minus grades for the first 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, so a little over 5 years. And then I was just like, you know what? We're going to start doing minus grades. So the first movie with a minus grade was Kung Fu Panda 2. So there you go. But here, Tron Ares, $33.5 million. Basically the same amount of money Taylor Swift's film made last weekend. That is not great. Yeah, considering Morbius did more, 39 million, totaled almost 74, and then Tron Legacy opened at 44 million, totaled 172.1 million. If you go back and look at that box office for the holiday weekends at the end of 2010, tons of people went to the movies. Tons of people caught up on movies. Ticket prices were lower. Not everything was 3D, but some stuff was. And a lot of people went to the movies during that Christmas, New Year's, and beyond period of 2010, which allowed a movie like Tron that opened to 44 to total 172. That allowed a movie like Yogi Bear to open to 16 and total 100. You don't see much of that anymore. You don't. You don't. If a movie makes 3 times its opening weekend, that is considered a success. I mean, you get something like Sinners, you get a couple of these a year, but you were seeing them a lot more way back when ticket prices were lower and people wanted to go to the movies more often than they do now. What was the best live-action cartoon adaptation like Yogi Bear? Ooh, boy, what a question. Off the top of my head, I mean, I like the first Smurfs. I liked the first 2 Smurfs films. I thought they were fun. But I'll tell you this, Alvin and the Chipmunks, I think I said it here a few weeks ago. I am feeling a revival of Alvin and the Chipmunks is coming. Disney's going to want to revive them. I really think so. It's been 10 years since the last one. First one was fun. Second one was third one was terrible. I didn't even see the last one, but I do believe that they gotta be. If they're not, they're crazy. Because you got a new generation of kids who I think would love Alvin and the Chipmunks. That really started the phenomenon. You had Yogi Bear come after Alvin and the Chipmunks. You had the Smurfs come after Alvin and the Chipmunks. You had Marmaduke. I'm missing a few, but Alvin and the Chipmunks really, and Underdog was earlier that year, but Underdog didn't make a lot of money. But Alvin and the Chipmunks, when it did 217 million at the end of 2007, people went, "Oh my gosh!" It made more money for Fox than the Simpsons movie did, and Fox went, "Oh my gosh, we got to make another one." So they cranked those out. But there you go. So yes, Tron Ares with 33.5. Disney is going to consider this a disappointment. All right, movie, not extraordinary. Chipmunka-sans, yeah. Oh, Scooby-Doo 2. Yeah, did I see the first one? I think I did. I don't know if I saw the full second one. Underdog is underrated. I didn't hate Underdog. I liked Underdog. Nobody went to Underdog. It got overshadowed. 2007, that summer, which I think I just wrote about recently or was going to. You had so many family movies in summer 2007, which was the second year I reviewed films. Let's run through some of the highlights. Shrek the Third. Surf's Up, which should have made a lot more than 59 million, but at least it got an Oscar nomination. Nancy Drew, which should have made a lot more than 25 million. Emma Roberts is great in that film. I really enjoyed Nancy Drew. Evan Almighty, which only made 100 million. The budget was insane. Ratatouille. You had kids going to Transformers. You had Hairspray. You had Harry Potter. You had No Reservations, which I think was rated PG. You had some kids go to the Simpsons movie. You had Underdog. You had at the end of the summer Mr. Bean's Holiday, which I didn't see. It looked awful. And I think I'm missing one or two others. Summer 2007 was jam-packed with family films. Even that second Fantastic Four movie that summer was rated PG. So you had a ton of kids going to a ton of movies, and so a lot of the money got split up. And some movies did better than others. Surf's Up, Nancy Drew, Underdog did not make a lot of money compared to other family movies that summer. Pete Crooks saw Good Boy, remarkable first film, spooky and interesting for the entire running time. Good Boy came in 10th this weekend with 1.4 million. It's at almost 5 million for IFC. It's going to keep climbing and could become one of the biggest IFC movies ever. In between Tron Ares and Good Boy at the box office this weekend, number 2 is Roof Man, a movie I saw Monday. Not a huge fan of Roof Man. It is very cringy. I found most of the film cringy. I know it's a true story, but they change a lot, and the movie's not effective. Channing Tatum, Kirsten Dunst, Peter Dinklage. I actually liked Lakeith Stanfield. I thought he gave the best performance out of anybody in the movie. He was the most interesting character. And Juno Temple's in the cast, and Uzo Aduba's in the cast, and it does a lot of things that just don't work. Whether it's lighter tone or just the way scenes play out and how it tries to manipulate your emotions, not a fan of Roof Man. As much as I like Sound of Metal, which Derek C. and Friends co-wrote, Oscar nominated for, he directed Place Beyond the Pines, filmed near me in upstate New York over a decade ago. I cannot recommend Roof Man. It came in second this weekend with $8 million for Paramount, a little lower than they were expecting. I have not seen Blue Valentine. I've heard very good things. And as far as Place Beyond the Pines goes, some of it's better than others. It gets worse as it goes on, but it was fun to see all the locations near me in upstate New York where that movie is filmed. There's a lot of fun things. It was a huge deal when that movie came to upstate New York in 2011. Number 3 this weekend is One Battle After Another, added 6.7 million. It's at 54.5. Number 4 is Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie, 3.4 million. It's at 26.4. It is now one of the 5 biggest movies of the year for Universal. Number 5 is Soul on Fire, the new true story, inspirational, faith-based drama, $3 million for Soul on Fire for Sony Affirm Films. Number 6 is The Conjuring Last Rites, 2.9 million. It's at 172.4, the 5th biggest film of the year for Warner Brothers. Number 7, Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, 2.3 million. It's at 128.6, the biggest fully animated film of the year. Zootopia 2 will take over that spot later this year. Number 8 is The Smashing Machine, which dropped 70%, down to 1.8 million this weekend. It is just shy of $10 million for A24. Not even on their top 5 of the year list for the year. That's wow. Number 9 is The Strangers Chapter 2 with 1.6 million. It's at 13.5. And as I mentioned, Good Boy is number 10. How about this? Kiss of the Spider-Woman, reportedly only $840,000. I screened this during the week. Didn't love it. J-Lo sings and dances. The songs aren't memorable. They're all the same. The emotion's not there. It's pretty one note. It's way too long. It's at least 20 minutes too long. They could have cut some of it down for sure. Not a huge fan of Kiss of the Spider-Woman, and clearly not a lot of people interested in seeing this. In limited release, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You with Rose Byrne in 4 theaters did 89 grand. And After the Hunt with Julia Roberts in 6 theaters did $155,000. That goes wide this weekend. I'll get to some comments in a second. After the Hunt goes wide this weekend alongside The Mastermind with Josh O'Connor, which I might see this week. Also Grow, family film. Pets on a Train, animated movie. You've got Good Fortune, the Aziz Ansari, Seth Rogen, Keanu Reeves comedy from Lionsgate. I could see it doing close to 10 million. I could see it doing 2. It's going to be in either way. You know, maybe it does 5 million in between, but it really might go either way. Black Phone 2 could very well be number 1, especially with how low TRON opened. Black Phone 2 with Ethan Hawke. The sequel to the film from a few years ago, 2022. It's been a bit. But another horror movie, Universal, Blumhouse. We'll see how it does. Latest from Angel Studios, Truth and Treason opens this weekend as well. Wednesday in theaters nationwide is The Family McMullen. I like the Brothers McMullen. I'm not going to be seeing it this week, but I want to catch up on Family McMullen at some point. Limited release Wednesday, The Ballad of a Small Player with Colin Farrell in select theaters ahead of it going to Netflix on October 29. Friday on Netflix is the animated film The Twits, which I screened over the weekend. Can't share thoughts. Might have an interview coming up this week. And limited release in theaters Friday. The documentary Stiller and Mira, Nothing is Lost, which is from Ben Stiller. That comes to Apple TV Plus on the 24th. Also Frankenstein, which will keep expanding and goes to Netflix on November 7th. That's Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. And then a film I really, really like. Blue Moon opens in select theaters Friday. Ethan Hawke deserves Best Actor nominations this award season. He's really good as Lorenz Hart, and also really good in the movie is Andrew Scott, who deserves supporting actor consideration. Margaret Qualley, very good as well. I got to tell you, there are 2 scenes between Ethan Hawke and Andrew Scott in Blue Moon that are 2 of the best scenes of any movie I've seen in the last 10 years. You will understand why as the scenes progress. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to give things away. Go see Blue Moon. If you love Ethan Hawke, this is a must-see. This is a career high for him. He's so good as a complex character. It's one of the 10 best films I've seen this year. It may end up on that 10 best list, probably will. And like I said, that dynamic between Hawke and Scott, wow. Get ready and get ready to be blown away. All right, let's see. Yeah, Hustlers could have been the nomination for Jennifer Lopez. Godfather, adding Blue Moon to the list. Good. Yes, I know that the John Candy doc is available on Prime Video. I have not checked that out yet, but want to at some point. I want to mention New York Comic Con things. I had a great time there on Thursday. Got to go to a panel of Primal with Gendy Tartakovsky. Highlights of that at animationscoop.com. Got to do a new Q&A with Brian Volkweiss for the RoboForce animated series. That is now up at animationscoop.com. Coming soon, I will have profiles and highlights of an Avatar Last Airbender panel I went to involving their merchandise, as well as The Mighty Nine, which is a new animated series coming to Prime Video in November. Went to the panel of that. Wayne Brady came out, did a surprise appearance. Also, I went to the panel for Mercy, which is the new Amazon MGM Chris Pratt action thriller, which comes to theaters in January. If you want my analysis of the panel and what I saw at the Mercy panel, including an exclusive clip, go to lights-camera-jackson.com in the blog section. And then other animation things I saw. So I've been posting some pictures on social media. You'll get more of that soon at animationscoop.com. And it was a fun time. I enjoyed being at New York Comic Con, and it was a good time. Reports for Animation Scoop and the social media platforms. It was a good time at New York Comic Con. All right. When we're back here next Sunday, I think it'll be next Sunday. I'm The calendar's in my head. Well, maybe it won't be, actually. No. Could be Saturday, but I'll let you know. I'll let you know on social media when the next episode of LCJ Live will be. But when we're back here next time, we will take a look at the box office for Black Phone 2, which probably will be #1. Unless it opens surprisingly low, then you could see Tron on top. But I'm thinking Black Phone 2 is going to be #1. And we will preview a bunch of movies coming out for the end of October. Even more than the ones I've already mentioned, like Springsteen and Stitchhead and some other films for the end of October into early November. I've already seen Nuremberg. It's fantastic. It opens November 7th. Really good ensemble in that. Sony Classics with a 1-2 power punch of Nuremberg and Blue Moon this year. Great movies. Thanks for being here for today's episode of LCJ Live. Oh yeah, I went to the Eagles game last Sunday. Too bad they lost. Too bad the Phillies lost. That was too bad. But we gotta rally behind the Eagles when they're back next weekend. Fly Eagles fly. Rest in peace to the legendary Diane Keaton. Go to my social media. Instagram at LightsCamJackson, X at LCJ Reviews. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go to animationscoop.com, lights-camera-jackson.com, lcj.podbean.com. New podcast episode either tomorrow or Tuesday with one of the makers of the Chosen Adventures animated series that comes to Prime Video this Friday. And TooFast2Films.com. We'll be doing a new episode soon. Mike and I have been busy with some stuff, but we've seen some movies. He saw Tron. He thought it was all right. I'm kind of in the same boat. But we'll be back with that soon and more. Thank you for being here for today's episode of LCJ Live. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for all the views. Appreciate it. Take care. Have a good rest of your weekend. And I'll see you next time for LCJ Live. Bye.